Hey guys, welcome back to another movie review. So last night I saw the Fantastic Four First Steps, and this is my spoiler-free review. Now before I start this review, let me go ahead and say this first. I am a big fan of the Fantastic Four. I think they're one of my favorite teams in all of Marvel, and I think they're one of my favorite superhero teams of all time. I think the 2005 and 2007 Fantastic Four movies are both okay movies. And we don't talk about Four Stick from 2015 because we all know this movie is not just one of the worst superhero movies ever made, it is also one of the worst movies ever made, period. So when I heard that Marvel was rebooting the Fantastic Four into the MCU and that they were gonna get their own movie, I was pretty excited, and this became one of, if not my most anticipated movie of the year. I have loved every single trailer that came out for this movie, and that's how I got super excited for this movie. I have heard nothing but really good things about this movie, and now that I have officially seen this movie, guys, I gotta say, this movie was fantastic. In all seriousness though, guys, I absolutely loved this movie, and I am happy to say that Marvel finally gave us a great Fantastic Four movie. I think this is not only one of the best MCU movies post Endgame, this is by far the best Fantastic Four movie we have ever gotten. It clears all the other three Fantastic Four movies from the past 2 decades. There are so many things to process here, so let's break down the best and worst parts of the movie. The first positive for this movie is our main cast. I think the main cast in this movie is phenomenal, and I think every single member of the Fantastic Four was casted perfectly. When it comes to the casting of Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards slash Mr. Fantastic, I was pretty skeptical about it at first, but after seeing this movie, I am so glad I was proven wrong because Pedro Pascal is Mr. Fantastic. He perfectly captures how smart, nerdy, and intelligent the character is, and he is just so good in the role. Vanessa Kirby gave an amazing performance as Sue Storm slash Invisible Woman, and she is definitely gonna go down in history as one of the best written female MCU characters. She was the heart and soul of this entire movie, and she just does such a great job at making Sue Storm feel like a lovable mother, wife, brother, and a true leader. Joseph Quinn is really great as Johnny Storm slash Human Torch, and he is low-key my new favorite live-action Johnny Storm. What really makes me love this version of Johnny Storm so much is that he is more than just a hot-headed ladies' man. He actually contributes a lot to the team in this movie, and he is very smart, and that's what makes me love this version of Johnny Storm so much. Eben Moss Backrack as Ben Grimm slash The Thing was so good in this movie, and even with the amount of screen time he got, he was still a really great character. Another positive for this movie is the visuals and cinematography. The visuals and cinematography in this movie looked absolutely beautiful, and this might be one of, if not the most visually stunning movie in the entire MCU. Another positive for this movie is the CGI. The CGI in this movie looks insane, and it is some of the best CGI I've ever seen, in not just a Marvel movie, but in any comic book movie. Another positive for this movie is the 1960s retro-futuristic aesthetic. I think the 1960s retro setting in this movie works really well on all fronts, and I just love the vibe so much. And I don't know if this makes sense, but the setting of this movie was giving Incredibles, but in live action, and that's a good thing. Another positive for this movie is every scene that involves Galactus and Shalla-Bal slash Silver Surfer. Galactus was really terrifying and menacing in this movie, and I am so happy they finally gave us a comic book accurate Galactus on the big screen. From the design, to the voice, to the aura, everything about Galactus in this movie was executed so perfectly, and Ralph Ineson did an incredible job as the voice of the character. As for Shalla-Bal slash Silver Surfer, I was actually surprised by how good this character was, and Julia Gardner was really good in the role. The stuff that she gets to do in this movie is so awesome to see, and this might be a hot take, but I think she is on par, if not better than Norrin Radd's Silver Surfer from 2007. Another positive for this movie is that the stakes feel very high. The stakes in this movie were at an all-time high than most MCU movies with the exception of Avengers Infinity War, and it just keeps you engaged and locked in for the entire runtime. Another positive for this movie is the scenes that take place in outer space. The space scenes in this movie are very fun to watch, and there's this sequence that happened in the middle of the movie that I will never be able to get out of my head because it is one of the best scenes in the entire MCU. And the final positive for this movie is the score composed by the one and only Michael Giacchino. Michael Giacchino's score in this movie is absolutely tremendous, and it is easily some of the best work he has ever done. Now for my negatives, my only minor complaint with this movie is that I do think it is a bit too fast paced, but even with that one minor flaw, that did not stop me from loving this movie because I think this movie is absolutely perfect in every single way. Overall, I had a really great time with watching this in the theaters, and I think this is not only one of the best Marvel movies post Endgame, I think this is by far the best Fantastic Four movie we have ever gotten, and I highly recommend this movie if you're a Marvel fan and a Fantastic Four fan, and I am definitely one of those people, and the rating I would give for this is an easy 10 out of 10. Before I end this video, I need to let y'all know that this movie has both a mid and post-credit scene, and you guys should definitely stay for those because the mid-credit scene is insane, and the post-credit scene is just a harmless fun scene. But anyways, yeah, that's my review for the Fantastic Four First Steps, and thank you for watching. If you want to see more reviews like this, follow me for more. Peace out. And also, ball, ball, ball.